Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about the new episode of The Bachelorette, Season 21, Episode 6. This was a very intense episode, so let's get right into it. Welcome to Manny's TV Talk, where we will talk about all of our favorite reality TV shows and news surrounding them. Grab a snack, a drink, and get comfortable because this starts now. Alright, so this episode begins with Jenn walking super fast across a hotel, up the elevator, and we hear her ask the guys, "Where is Sam?" So that was just like a little teaser of what's to come. But we go back a little in time to the beginning of the week. The group is back in the US, they are in Seattle. I think this might be the first season where they have not spent literally a single night in the Bachelor Mansion. This is an important week. This is the week before hometowns. And this was the week in Joey's season when Jenn was sent home. So Jenn, not trying to be rude, but I do think that she isn't the most mature bachelorette. So it was nice seeing a familiar face. Charity Lawson. She comes to give Jenn some advice. Jenn wants to know, how did Charity break down who she had a stronger connection with? And Charity said that every time she spent time with a man, she would write down a new thing that she learned about them. I absolutely loved Charity's season, and I love the way she ended her season. Jenn is excited, but a lot of the guys she feels are still very closed off and haven't been completely open. So hopefully they'll get there as this time goes by this week. Meanwhile, the guys are in the hotel. They're loving it. Sam is being his usual self, cocky, saying that he's going to introduce Jenn to his pops and his mom. Then the date card comes in, and it's not just the card, but there's also a gift in there as well. It's for Marcus, and the gift was like a Letterman jacket, a green Letterman jacket like the ones you get in high school. So Marcus was definitely very excited. This is his second one-on-one date, so he gets on going. So apparently Seattle is known as the Emerald City. So ABC didn't miss this opportunity to advertise the new movie Wicked, hitting theaters this November. So Jesse gives them a ride on this little green train, and then they go to a part of the city that they kind of covered up with big green curtains. And when Jesse pulls the curtains open, there's beautiful flowers, a yellow brick road, and Daisy and Kelsey, Joey's final two. Well, Joey's pick, and then the runner up. I love seeing old faces, I really do. Both Kelsey and Daisy looked amazing. Then they do like little challenge where they have to go down the yellow brick road and have to open boxes that are like opposite, and like it leads them to do fun stuff, and it was sweet. They had a lot of fun playing around. They continued doing many of those. Charity was then waiting for them at the end of one of the carriages that they ended up riding with a wand, and there was a bunch of balloons that they had to pop, and inside each balloon there were very personal things from their friends and family. Marcus got very emotional when he saw a picture of him and his sister, and also a video that she made for him. He says that they're very close and he misses her a lot. He cried, and then Jenn cried too when she read her letter that her mom wrote her. It was sad and beautiful at the same time, if that makes sense. Then they met the very first original Bachelorette, and they got into a hot air balloon. And Jenn loved this day. It was definitely very nice too. I really did like enjoying seeing it. Back at the hotel, there's a little tension with the guys. They all want to go to the hometowns. Then they get a knock on the door. It's a date card, and it says Spencer, Jonathan, Sam, Devin, Grant. I want love that listens, read the card. So that means my boy Jeremy got the one-on-one. He's been the only one who hasn't gotten a one-on-one till this point. Grant was very upset because he wanted it to be him again, but it wasn't. So it's the later part of the date, and Jenn and Marcus have their little dinner thing at a stadium. Jen's goal for this is to know if Marcus is ready and he's like at the same page with her and ready to take this huge step. So Marcus then begins to open up. Props to him because he's definitely opened up about some hard things on the show. So earlier in the day, when Jenn had read that letter from her mom, there was a part where her mom kind of apologized for not giving her the perfect family. So now Marcus is telling her that he and his sister did not have good parents. One day, they were taken to the daycare and their parents never came back. They left them there. So they were stuck in the foster care system, and he struggled all his childhood being parentless and feeling like there was something wrong with him, even to a certain extent. Out of all the one-on-ones this season, this really made me emotional because these were children. and no child deserves to go through that. I felt really sad. So Jenn listens, she tries to validate him, and then she tells him to go up with her. They go to the top of some seats in the stadium. She offers him the rose, so he accepts. So he's automatically the first hometown. Then they could see a message on the Jumbotron that Jesse made them, and then there were green fireworks that played with music from the Wicked movie. So this whole day was a huge promotion for the movie, but it was a nice day. So the next day, it's time for the group day, and Jenn is in iHeart Radio studio. There was an old bachelor couple named Jason and Molly. I don't know them. I was 6 years old when their season came out. I searched it up. It was 2009. But they're still together after all these years, so they are a good example that the show actually worked. So all of the men that are in this group date go into the studio. I don't know if they were actually on air, but they played some little games like rapid fire question, word association, say three words that describe Jenn, things like that. It was definitely, a little competition, but it was fun. Everyone was giving great answers, they were at the tip of their toes. Now, everyone knows I can't stand Sam, and his answers were weird to me. His definition of he's he is the definition of talking without saying anything at all. It's almost as if he's trying to sound like Shakespeare, but there's no poetry, no art, no talent, and no feeling. Not genuine at all. The host then says, after listening to all of these guys, that they think Jenn and Sam probably need more time to kind of, straighten out some things. So the other guys leave to another room. They are watching the people talk, but it's just Jenn and Sam over there. So Jenn is asking him some questions, and you guys, my jaw fell 2 stories down. When Jenn asks him what were his first thoughts like on night one, part of his answer were, well, my first thoughts were that you were not my type. I was expecting Daisy or Maria. What? Oh my gosh, I mean, we were all expecting Daisy and Maria, but you don't say that to the woman you're trying to fall in love with. What the heck? Oh my gosh. So Jenn is feeling a lot of insincerity from his answers. So she's like, okay, but like, why do you think I can be the one that you can have this ferocious love that you keep talking about over and over again? He says, oh, well, you're selfless. Jenn says, can you explain how you came to that conclusion? Why do you think I'm selfless? And he's like, well, night one was very hot and I want to have a family and this ferocious love. Jenn's face looked a little disgusted. She says, do you think that you truly know me? And he says, well, I told you on night one that my love language is physical touch. Like this. Then he grabs her face and just plants a kiss on her. I said this from night one. Sam don't bring nothing good to the table but a weird accent and a good makeout session for Jenn, okay? So, it was a little weird. A lot of weird vibes. So it's the later part of the date. Jenn says that there was a conversation earlier that didn't really sit well with her, but she's excited to talk to all of them. And it's an important week. It's hometowns next week. So Grant is the first one. Grant is a great guy, very respectful and nice. And he's from Texas, give it up. So he tells Jenn that he's already chosen her. He cares and sees a future with her. And he even told her that he's falling in love with her. He truly meant it. And Jenn believes that it's definitely coming from a good place. She also had a great chat with Jonathan. He says that his feelings have skyrocketed. Great conversation with Spencer as well. And with Devin. Now, with Devin, not only did he tell her that he's so excited for his mom to possibly meet her next week, he had told her a while ago. It must have been maybe last week or the week before that. He had told Jenn that he was falling in love with her. And today, Jenn has now told Devin that she too was falling in love with him. It was amazing for him to hear that. So then it is time to talk to Sam. She tells him that she needs a lot to clarify. He goes back and forth with the word selfless, and he knows that they're meant to be. Jenn says, okay, but how do you know that? So Sam is just saying that, I feel it. Jenn keeps insisting, but like, why me? He can't answer it. Now, listen here. How hard can it be? I mean, if a girl is asking you, why me? Just say because you're beautiful, you're funny, you're kind, you're smart. But he can't answer. And then he says, it's you because I love you. Jenn is like, Sam, No, for real, I do. And he keeps bringing up yet again this ferocious. If I hear the word ferocious love once again, I'm gonna lose my mind. But as Jen said, there's no clear foundation or substance, and they don't have one. They just like the way they taste. That's it. Then, after all those conversations, Jen decides not to give the rose out because she's not super sure about things yet, so she needs to think about it more. It is then a new day, and it's time for Jen and Jeremy to go on their one-on-one date. They go to a market, and there was actually a lady in there who was selling flowers. And Jeremy was so creative. He asks if he can go make his own bouquet for Jen. He did a great job. So moments like that are nice because not only are they nice, but they're creative. Now, because this is their first one-on-one date, and it's the week before hometown, she's definitely in a little bit of a disadvantage. But they had a lot of fun. Jeremy looks like a really fun guy. They have their palms read, and then they throw a fish around. Very fun day. I could totally see Jeremy loving his partner, whoever it is, so much and like having so much fun with them. So, again, the one on ones this week were amazing. So, later that day, they go to this beautiful place, amazing art and decorations. Jeremy thanks her for having a great day, but Jen wants to start asking some very serious questions on a more surface level than just having fun at the market. Jeremy says that he obviously wants to be with someone who is fun and they can be themselves with each other, but he says that he isn't trying to compare them, but he says that he sees a lot of his mother in Jen. They're very similar in the way that they care about others. One major thing that is very significant to each of them is that he's Jewish and she's a Buddhist, so it would be important to both of them to have their kids identify with both of those cultures slash religions. And they took it super well. I mean, super mature talk and clearly laying out what they want. So after that lengthy, serious conversation, Jen offers him the rose. Wow, I didn't think he was. I really am going to be totally honest. I didn't think he was going to get it. I really didn't, but he did. I'm happy for him. It was a great conversation, and I really did enjoy not hearing a trauma dumping story on a one on one talking about, oh, my ex, blah, blah, blah. Like, come on now. So, a little bit before the rose ceremony, it's the next day, we see the scene from the beginning where Jen is walking up and down the hotel like a crazy person looking for Sam. She finally finds him. He says that he feels terrified, and he then goes back with the cringiness. He does apologize for the other day, but he then starts talking about love. Love is selfless. Love is kind. I thought he was going to quote First Corinthians at this point. But again, his answers made no sense. She keeps asking the same questions. How do you know I'm the one? He says, I'm not going to, sit here and list out all these traits because a lot of girls have those traits, but it's just how I feel. When you toasted about that voracious love, I felt it. The day of the strip club, I felt it. Jen is asking, well, what have you learned about me? And he says that you want a strong love. And Jen's like, yeah, but love's not a script. Now, to be fair, just for half a second, yes, it can be true that love sometimes is something that you feel. It can be hard to put into words when you feel it. That is true. The problem with this guy, though, is I don't believe him at all, anything he says, and they really haven't had enough time and enough experiences for him to truly have this overly voracious and uncontrollable love towards her. Like, for him to be like, I love you, there's no doubt about it. So, anyway, after listening to this conversation, I felt like I was losing brain cells. And I don't know why Jen is lingering on this too much as well. Like, girl, send him home and say goodbye. Like, stop asking these questions over and over again. But she gets up, walks out a little, and she still tries to give him another opportunity to defend his answer. But it's like talking to a brick wall. So after all that torturous conversation, they really did torture us watchers this week with this Sam guy. She told him that he reminds her of one of her exes, and he's gotta go. So Mr. Main, keep the main thing. The main thing is out the building. I called it night one. Hashtag Team Devin. So it is then time for the rose ceremony. Marcus and Jeremy have their roses, and there are two left. The first rose goes to Devin, as expected. And then the final one, I was like, oh my god, it's Jonathan, Grant, and Spencer. Who's it going to be? Well, it went to Jonathan. Ugh, so that meant that Grant and Spencer had to leave. My heart broke for Grant. It's sad because I don't think he was expecting it at all that night, and Spencer was heartbroken as well. And he was thinking, like, why do things never work out? And oh my gosh, I almost cried when I saw that. So Jen's now in the room with the remaining four. They're, cheering and all that. Spencer was outside. The first person he calls is his mom. And he's like, Mom, I just got sent home. This happens all the time. Uh, Damn, that was sad. So that was the end of the episode. And then, you guys, as soon as the episode ended, we get an exclusive that Grant Ellis will be the Bachelor. Now, I want to take a moment and say that I put this out in the universe last week, and y'all can go watch that video because I said I want Grant to be the Bachelor. So, my Make Grant the Bachelor campaign, I didn't have to run it that much. It happened real quick. Now, I wonder why they chose today to. I mean, I guess it makes sense he left today, but I don't think they've ever announced it this early through a tweet from Bachelor Nation fan account. I mean, obviously, then the blogs like People Magazine and them they picked it up too, but. That was a little weird, but I'm excited he's the Bachelor. He's going to be a great Bachelor for sure because he really is a good guy. Spencer, I wish he could have been the Bachelor as well, but we'll see what happens with him. Anyway, you guys, this was the end. So, hometowns will now be with Marcus, Jeremy, Jonathan, and Devin. So this is serious. So I'm going to need Jen to be a little bit more mature and get her act together because she's meeting people's parents. So I can't wait to that. So anyway, you guys, let me know what your thoughts were about this whole episode. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. You have a great one. Bye.